You can take a guy like Canelo. This guy can do. He can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude.
You can compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
Floyd Mayweather has shaken the boxing world once again. Moments after Canelo Alvarez's latest fight, Mayweather made his move calling out Terence Crawford with fearless intent. The undefeated legend, a man defined by precision and perfection, hinted at one more high-stakes return to the ring. The message was clear: he's not done yet. Across arenas, gyms, and living rooms, fans and analysts erupted. The whispers grew louder. Could Mayweather truly take on the man many call today's pound-for-pound king? The tension is electric.
Let me ask you though, Canelo this week actually said something interesting. He goes that Crawford's better fighter than Mayweather. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like he is?
I think he's more all-rounded in some ways, but Mayweather was so good at certain things that made him impossible to beat. He really stuck to his niche of style, where Crawford kind of tries to fight the more honest, I guess, exciting, traditional way, being there, just moving out the way, landing the shot, where Mayweather would have you dancing around him and chasing him and falling short and falling in and countering the life out of you, and knew and understood 10-9 rounds better than anyone else. You only have to win 7-10-9 rounds clear and you've won the fight as long as you don't get put down. And obviously he never really got put down. I know there's a few question marks, but for all intents and purposes never got put down, and he was the best, one of the best to ever do it. It's very hard to go a whole career undefeated.
Terence "Bud" Crawford silenced every doubt, conquering Canelo Alvarez with a dominant, unanimous decision to seize the undisputed super middleweight crown. Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, September 13, 2025. The night the sport stood still, Crawford dared to climb 2 full weight classes, staring down the bigger, stronger, more powerful Canelo. But size didn't matter. Crawford dictated the pace, gliding on footwork, snapping sharp combinations, dismantling Canelo's strengths piece by piece. This wasn't just a win, it was a match.
What did you think? What did you think of the fight?
Man, I loved it, man. I loved the fight, man. I loved the fight. I did not know how it was going to go. I didn't think the weight was going to be a problem for Terence Crawford. I'm on record saying I didn't think it was going to be a problem, but it stood to be seen. It needed to be seen, and I knew we would have known after the first, second, or third round. You feel what I'm saying? And when I seen how Canelo was respecting his jab and how Canelo was respecting his power from the very beginning, I knew how it was going to go. And I knew that Bud was only going to get stronger and get bolder and, you know, start to wear him down, because Canelo is known to start to wear a little bit in the later round.
Everyone said that Crawford was not going to exchange tonight, and he traded with Canelo up close.
Man, Bud is the best, man. Bud is the best. I've been on wax and saying that, Bud. I've been on wax and saying that for a couple of years now. I bet against Bud on Spence. I bet against Bud on Porter. I didn't think that Bud was the best. I got to give it to him. Bud the best, right? He's hands down. He's the best. He's the best right now. I don't think nobody need to question him no more. I mean, you kind of got to give him his respect no matter what. You got to give him his respect. He just went up 2 weight classes what people said he couldn't do. He's doing everything that people say he can't do, and he is doing it with ease.
Right.
You got to respect that.
Break it down for me. How did he win that fight in the way you won it tonight?
He won the fight by gaining Canelo's respect. I think he was already in Canelo's head a little bit. I think that even though Canelo knew he was smaller and everything else, these fighters are still humans and they hear what the people are saying. Canelo was, I'm sorry, not Canelo, Crawford was undefeated. Look at what he did to Spence. I mean, look at what he's doing to some of these people. So no matter what, I mean, you have to take that into consideration.
Before the fight, Floyd Mayweather Jr. put his money where his mouth was. Confident in Crawford's brilliance, he wagered $50,000 on the underdog at plus 148 odds. The gamble: Crawford to beat Canelo. The result? A flawless unanimous decision. The payout: $124,000 in cold cash. But this wasn't just a bet. It was a statement. Mayweather's faith in Crawford's skills wasn't blind, it was calculated. It was the insight of a master who knows the sport better than anyone alive.
Check this out, guys. Floyd Mayweather just shared on social media that he bet $50,000 on Crawford to win, and he won $75,000 back. So Crawford made Mayweather $74,000. Most people that I talked to were betting on Canelo. A few people bet on Crawford. How much money did you win on Crawford? $200 here, $200 there. But most people that I know bet on Canelo. And we'll hear from Canelo. We're gonna hear from Crawford, and I'll keep you guys posted. But right now, Floyd Money Mayweather, bet on Crawford and make some money. What do you want to see Crawford do next? What do you want to see Canelo do next? Let me know. Definitely interesting developments here tonight. When I watched the fight live, I thought Canelo won. I think Canelo won. I have to watch it again, but with no audio, because I know the broadcasters were all against Canelo. They were all against him all week from the rivals. So I don't expect anything different.
Mayweather didn't just cash in. He doubled down with words that carried weight across the boxing universe. To him, Terence Crawford is now the undisputed four-pound number one. After dismantling Canelo, Crawford's brilliance left Mayweather no choice but to speak the truth. It wasn't about belts. It wasn't about fame. It was about dominance consistently, across divisions, against the best of the best. Crawford has done it all, undefeated, unshaken, and in Mayweather's eyes, unrivaled.
Right now, in your opinion, who's the best fighter in the world?
We can put Tank up there in the top 10 in pound for pound. He has to be somewhere in pound for pound. And Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion. Something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that. So, but as of right now, I have to put Terence Crawford as number one.
But this story isn't one-sided. Crawford himself has long admired Mayweather, not just the flawless skill set, but the business genius, the career mastery, the blueprint for legacy. That admiration became respect, and respect became connection. Behind closed doors, Crawford listened to Mayweather's advice, not as a fan, as a student, and every word mattered. Every lesson showed. Their bond goes beyond boxing. It's ambition meeting ambition, greatness recognizing greatness.
But I know how you is. You be sizing niggas up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, boss. Keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting. Yeah. I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll be this.
But you capping, bro. I don't even thought like fantasy fight me versus Floyd, nah.
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, man, I'll be this. Never. That's some hate type shit to me.
Like plot.
I ain't never been that type of person ever.
Then came a shockwave. In a Raw press conference, Canelo Alvarez spoke words no one expected. I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather. Gasps filled the room. A confession from the man who once stood humbled by Mayweather in 2013, at just 23 years old, still undefeated. But after 12 rounds with Crawford, Canelo saw the difference. Crawford's speed, his footwork, his tactical genius, it all overwhelmed him. To weight classes up, yet Crawford neutralized Canelo's power with icy precision and flawless counters. This wasn't opinion. It was evidence. Proof, written across 12 rounds of brilliance.
It's with Fight Hub TV right here in the middle.
Yeah.
Champ, first off, I want to thank you for the illustrious career that you have given us in the game. You've been a steadfast professional in the way that you conducted yourself, and I want to thank you on behalf of all of the boxing media.
Thank you, sir.
Number
my
two,
pleasure.
Champ, I wanted to ask you, this was a fight that we haven't seen from you before. We've never seen you have the sustained and prolonged frustration during the fight. Was there a point in time where you figured that this just wasn't going to be my night? And if you did, when did that happen?
No, I never thought that. I always try. All the rounds I try, but you need to accept it, right? Sometimes you cannot go, and I try all the rounds. I never think about that because imagine. So I cannot think in that way, but I try my best tonight.
And lastly for me, Champ, in the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Canelo's bold claim that Crawford is greater than Mayweather didn't go unanswered. Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's own uncle, fired back with sharp criticism. To him, Canelo's words weren't praise. They were strategy, a calculated move to soften the sting of defeat by lifting Crawford higher. Jeff reminded the world when Canelo lost to Floyd, he was in his prime. Floyd wasn't past it. He was flawless. And while Crawford is brilliant, Jeff insists no one has ever matched Floyd's defensive genius. Not then, not now.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
yeah, what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
how you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Want to
make himself look like he did something great.
Trainer Greg Hackett joined the storm, refusing to let the debate fade. His stance was firm. Floyd Mayweather Jr. still stands above Terence Crawford. Hackett acknowledged Crawford's dazzling victory over Canelo, but he drew a line. Defense, ring, IQ, mastery of the sweet science. To Hackett, these are the traits that separate Floyd from everyone else. Crawford is great, but Mayweather is greater. The discussion burns hotter, dividing fans, experts, and fighters alike. Who truly defines this era?
The Floyd Mayweather that Canelo Alvarez fought.
Yeah.
In the last version of Terence Crawford that we've seen in the ring.
Yeah.
Who's the better fighter, Jim?
Of course you got to give it to Floyd. Floyd at that time. Ben, what's up? Floyd at that time versus Canelo was in total confidence. His skill set, his IQ, you know what I'm saying? Everything he do, he was just a complete fighter that night. But I feel like was up against a lot because he was fighting a guy that we knew something about, but we didn't know too much about. People don't understand how much a fighter could be thrown off by what he don't know. And the reason it throws you off is because you're actually learning about the fighter while you're in there. That's what Bud went up against that night. That's why he didn't look so great, to me.
Motor Eddie Hearn wasn't subtle either. He dismissed Canelo's declaration outright. For Hearn, the comparison isn't even close. Crawford's resume, though impressive, doesn't stack up to Mayweather's catalog of victories. Too many of Crawford's opponents, he argued, were past their peak. Meanwhile, Mayweather dominated legends in their prime, across weight divisions, year after year. Yes, Crawford conquered Canelo, but does one night erase a decade of Floyd's supremacy? Hearn says no. The debate deepens.
Canelo saying that Crawford's a better fighter than Mayweather. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. But I think Crawford's a phenomenal fighter. The thing is with Crawford, and I was kind of goading him on this, and it's not his fault. His resume's not that impressive. Like I said to him, tell me your best win ever. This is what I said to him. And you know what he said? Ricky Burns. Right? Now Ricky Burns is a great fighter. It's my guy. He's a 3-division world champion. But you can't say that he is, like one of the greats. He's one of the greats of Scottish boxing. But if you're talking about one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of all time, it's not Terence's fault that he hasn't been able to get those fights. But a lot of the guys that he's fought have been done. Even arguably Ricky Burns at the time. I know he went on to win other world championships, but he was kind of on the slide at that time. Kell Brook, Amir Khan, Gamboa, all of these guys. Who else did he beat? Ndongo, like Errol Spence, another example. Terence is brilliant, but he's never actually really had many notable victories. This would be it. I mean, this would be an incredible achievement. But I just feel like at the age that they're at, like, what is going to happen in this fight? And I just see I don't think Terence, because he shouldn't, is going to take that many chances in the fight. He needs to use his movement, use his footwork, which Canelo doesn't like, and win rounds. And Canelo doesn't really like to force a fight. When did you last see Canelo really trying to get a finish?
Carmel Matan echoed the same sentiment. To him, Floyd Mayweather isn't just great, he is the GOAT. Undefeated, untouched, unparalleled, Matan admitted. Crawford's triumph over Canelo was extraordinary, But greatness is not defined by a single moment. It's defined by a career, longevity, immaculate execution, the art of never losing. Crawford is elite. Moten agreed, but Floyd's legacy, that lives on a different level, a level few will ever reach.
Where do you sit with this? Because two pound-for-pound greats of this era. Canelo, we see the resume. Crawford, two-time undisputed. Potentially this weekend becomes 3. I've said in a few interviews, is it skills pay the bills, or does a good big man beat a good little man? How do you see it?
I feel like the skills pay the bills, and I feel like Crawford's not that much littler than Canelo. We've seen in the face-off that they're around the same size. If not, Crawford look a little bigger than. Yeah, for sure. So really just we're gonna see tomorrow. How it plays out. Whoever the better man is that night, I feel like will win. I feel like it's even playing fields, and both guys coming ready. So we're just gonna have to see.
If Terence does win this, a lot of people are saying that puts him as the greatest of all time. Now, I know it's hard because obviously you've been with Floyd, and a lot of people are saying Floyd is the greatest, but does that at least put him in that conversation with your Floyd Mayweathers, your Manny Pacquiao's, your Sugar Ray Leonards, all the greats of the past, and obviously Canelo obviously as well, because he'll be there. Does that put him there?
Yeah, for sure. Of course nobody will, but I feel like Floyd will always be the greatest of all time.
Meanwhile, Terence Crawford himself chose a different path, calm/collected. He brushed off the constant comparisons. To him, eras can't be measured against each other. Floyd was the best of his time. Crawford is the best of his. Simple, no rivalry needed. His longtime trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, echoed the same focus. After conquering Canelo, Bomac insisted there would be no rush into another war. Recovery comes first. Rest, reflection, a well-earned pause before the next chapter begins in Crawford's legendary journey.
And you know what? We're going to get back in the gym. And we're going to assess that. And, right now I just want him to go on vacation, have some fun, spend time with his family, man, because we trained for probably a half a year for that fight. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of time spent away from home, a lot of time spent away from the family. So I just want him to just go get back home.
And what for you?
Yeah. Damn. And for you? Hey, this is thing. Appreciate you.
What you saying about training a half a year?
We trained almost a half a year for that fight. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it was so sharp. Everybody.
But not everyone felt content. Bernie Thigh Boxer, a close ally of Crawford, unleashed his frustration. They tried to rob us. He snapped. To him, the scorecards didn't reflect the domination he witnessed. Round after round, Crawford dictated the fight, yet the margins on the judges' cards told a different story. Yes, the win was unanimous. But to Bernie, it wasn't enough. The victory should have been clearer, louder, undeniable. Once again, boxing's age-old, enemy controversial scoring crept into the spotlight.
This is the second time you destroy every myth. Can he take a punch? Is he strong? Is this guy too strong? Man, he did everything. He did everything, didn't he? Stood and fought with him. See how he
was in the pocket. Was in the pocket.
Turned him. Did everything. Talking about he too strong. Turned him a couple times. Pushed him. Crawford the best, man.
And through it all, Floyd Mayweather's shadow looms. He remembers the night he schooled a young, unbeaten Canelo back in 2013, a night where his defense and brilliance silenced the doubters. That win remains one of the crown jewels of his career. Now, with Crawford standing tall as the man who dethroned Canelo, Mayweather sees an opportunity, a chance to prove that even today, he can share the ring with the best of the best. By calling out Crawford, Floyd doesn't just spark headlines, he ignites the possibility of a showdown the world never thought it would see.
I mean, you fought Floyd Mayweather at what, dude, 23?
23.
That's so fucking young. And he was like, that was when he was probably at his prime,
his
right?
prime, yeah.
Prime, and you're only 23.
20.
What was that like?
I trained so hard, and now obviously I tried to beat him, because beat him. If you beat him, you're gonna be the best in the world. 23, so imagine that. But he was the better man that night. A lot of experience. He's a great fighter. But I learned.
And so, the question remains: is this the spark for one of the greatest fights in history, Mayweather versus Crawford? Or should the legend stay retired, letting the new king carry the torch into the future? The boxing world is divided. The debate is alive. But the answer may only come if the fight itself becomes reality.